All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive into one of the most significant and, honestly, one of the most challenging questions in modern artificial intelligence, the AI black box problem.
So I want you to just imagine this for a second. An AI system is involved in a huge decision about your life. Maybe it's for a loan, maybe it's a parole hearing, or maybe it's helping a doctor make a critical diagnosis. And the answer comes back denied. You ask why, and the answer you get is, well, basically a shrug. The system made the call, but nobody, not even the people who built it, can really tell you how it got there. Now, this isn't some far-off science fiction scenario. This is a very real problem we are grappling with right now. Okay, so let's unpack that. The concept at the center of this whole issue is the black box. It's the perfect metaphor, really. We use it to describe some of our most powerful AI models, especially in deep learning, where they kind of mimic the neural networks in our own brains. We can see the information we feed into it, and we can see the answer that comes out the other side. But that whole process in the middle, the how, it's completely hidden from view. It's a black box. To put a more formal definition on it, a black box AI is any system where that internal logic, the millions, sometimes billions of tiny calculations and connections that lead to a specific conclusion, is fundamentally opaque. And I don't just mean it's complicated. I mean it's often literally beyond our human ability to trace the path from A to B. And this is the part that is just staggering. This isn't just about us, the users, being kept in the dark. We're talking about the very engineers and data scientists who design and build these incredible systems. Even they can't always explain why it did what it did. I mean, just think about that. You build the machine, you set it loose, but you can't fully account for its reasoning. So this leads us to the really crucial question, right? If these systems are super accurate, if they get the right answer most of the time, who cares? Why does it matter that we can't see how this sausage gets made? Why can't we just trust the result? Well, the answer really hits at the foundation of how our society works. It all comes down to trust. We can't truly trust a decision if we can't understand it. Think about it. If a human judge or a doctor makes a big call, we expect them to be able to justify it with logic, with evidence, with reasoning. When an AI can't do that, its ethical legitimacy, its right to even be making these calls in the first place, is seriously weakened. And look, this is not just some academic debate. These black box systems are already out there, being used in incredibly high-stakes situations that change people's lives every single day. We're talking about getting approved for mortgage, a decision that can shape a family's entire future. We're talking about parole boards using AI to decide if someone is safe to release from prison. And we're talking about medical diagnoses, where a single mistake can literally be the difference between life and death. So the real-world impact is on the individual. I mean, how are you supposed to appeal a decision when you don't even know the reason for it? How can you possibly point out an error or challenge a biased line of thinking if the thinking itself is a complete mystery? It completely undermines our basic ideas of fairness and due process. And what all this does is it shines a huge spotlight on a deep, fundamental tension, a real conflict that's right at the heart of how we develop AI today. It's a trade-off that everyone in the field is wrestling with. You can see that core dilemma right here. On one side, we have this relentless drive for predictive accuracy. Of course we want our AI to be right as often as possible. And generally speaking, the more complex a model is, the more accurate it gets. But then, on the other side, we have this crucial need for interpretability. That's our ability, as humans, to look at a decision and actually understand how the AI got there. And here's the brutal truth of the matter. Most of the time, these two things, accuracy and explainability, are in direct opposition. As a model gets more powerful, as it gets smarter and more nuanced, it almost always becomes more of a black box. So we gain that raw performance, but we lose our ability to understand it. We're basically being forced to choose which one we value more. And you can see this trade-off isn't just a technical problem for programmers to solve. No, this is a profound ethical problem for all of us. It forces us to ask some really tough questions about accountability and fairness. Because if you can't see inside the box, how can you ever be sure it's not harboring some hidden biases? And maybe even more important, it creates a huge problem around responsibility. Which leaves us with this final and frankly very unsettling question. When one of these complex, unexplainable systems makes a mistake that causes real harm, who's on the hook? Is it the developer who wrote the code, the company that used the system, the person who followed its recommendation, or is it just nobody at all?
As we weave these powerful tools deeper and deeper into the fabric of our society, figuring out who is truly accountable is one of the most urgent challenges we face.